Okay, guys, we have so much to talk about. I don't even know where to begin. It's 5:51 p.m. in Kansas City, Missouri right now, Monday night, and 1.3 for the Pathfinder playtest is out. There's just a lot. To be honest, I think you guys are getting 2 videos today because I don't know how else to organize this. Sit back, relax. Holy crap, the playtest is changing a lot. Like and subscribing is a good thing you can do, and also this one's brought to you in part by Arcania. Now, okay, here we go. There's a lot. Normally, when we put these things out, we haven't been really like, here's individual things for classes. Today, not the case. Everybody's getting new toys to play with. Alongside that, the entire meta is changing. Alongside that, everything has a multi-class archetype now. That's probably the other video, to be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna put 2 out tonight. These are gonna come out around the same time in the morning because there's, again, just so much and it's time to hit it. First things first. Henceforth, when making a check untrained from now on, it's a -4 instead of your level -2 to make a bigger gap between those of us who are untrained at a thing and those of us who are trained at a thing. And right out the gate, what that tells me as someone who likes both to optimize and both to try to be relevant in every mode of play is I'm going to probably be spending a lot less time getting a skill to legendary and a lot more time just training stuff. Alongside that, a lot of DCs are changing. Here on the left, we can see the old skill DC check that we talked about in our Is Assurance Worthwhile video. Here's the new one. This is the table Paizo would like you to use to generate skill DCs on the fly. And just looking at it just casually, really quickly, Assurance will beat everything up to an incredible level 10 test. Back in the day, it was an extreme level 10 test, so things haven't been bumped too hard. What that tells me is it wasn't just poor Zendoran in Pale Mountain Shadow. I think next week, by the by, we'll do our discussion on that. I know we're super behind. We're cool like that. That died horribly in the quicksand almost. Actually, probably some characters just straight up died in that quicksand because the DCs were egregious. Which is not to say, of course, that we cannot still use that ultimate table to make extremely challenging things to kill the players. Next up, we've got spell and ability changes. We're just going to grab these one by one. Normally, we don't talk about these, but again, all the classes are getting overhauled today. It's a big day, glorious day for the Pathfinders, so just going to hit it. The Tangled Foot stance in the second paragraph, we're changing acrobatics check to reflex save. And in the parentheses, we're adding, and you can choose to allow the enemy to move if you prefer. Under specialty crafting, in the second sentence, you change +2 circumstance to +1 circumstance bonus. Then add if you have master proficiency, it goes to 2. For virtuosic performer, it's basically the same idea, that +2 becomes a +1, and if you have master performance, it goes to +2. Also, it looks like the grease spell is getting changed as well. Changing the target and area entry to any solid ground in the area is covered with grease. Each creature standing on the greasy surface must succeed at a reflex save or an acrobatics check to maintain balance against your spell DC or fall on their face. Creatures moving onto the greasy surface during the spell's duration must also attempt an acrobatics check to balance or fall on the face. Creatures that step don't have to attempt that check or save. Originally, we were just making acrobatics checks, now things get reflex saves as well. So that's definitely a nerf for grease, because we're assuming a lot of monsters didn't have ranks in acrobatics, but everything has a reflex save. The maze spell is allowing perception checks in addition to survival checks, for one imagines, along the same reasons. Also, the web spell is being changed from athletics check to athletics check or reflex save. So again, things that don't have ranks and things have a better chance. And we're changing that success entry to the creature is unaffected. If it used an athletics check, it clears the web from every square it leaves after leaving the square. The critical success entry is changing to as success, and it doesn't need to attempt further saving throws against the web this turn. Failures, we're changing saving throws to athletics checks or saving throws. That's just kind of cleaning up the wording a little. Long story short, things are going to be able to break out of those staple spells a little easier now. Next up, we've got a brand new use of the medicine skill, Treat Wounds. You must use healer's tools. You spend 10 minutes treating up to 6 injured living creatures, targeting yourself as one of them if you want. Then attempt a medicine check. The DC is usually the medium DC for your level, though the GM might adjust it due to circumstances. A given creature can be subject to only one treat wounds attempt per 10-minute period, so 2 characters can't treat the same target at the same time. A success says that each patient recovers HP equal to its con mod times your level, or equal to just your level, whichever's higher. On a critical, you increase the healing by your level times 3 times a first edition Great Axe, except it glues the wounds back, I guess. Cool. On a critical failure, you don't, use the wrong end of the Great Axe and chop their arm off or something. The patients are just bolstered against treat wounds, meaning they're immune for 24 hours. And that, my friends, is what we call out-of-combat healing with a skill check. It's not just battlefield medic, it's not just natural medicine, no, it's treat wounds 10 minutes, which is definitely a thing. That means you don't necessarily have to have a divine caster or primal caster or some kind of healer guy in the squad to survive, because, everybody can train medicine. Next up, identification and repair. Quote, as of update 1.3, we are shortening how long it takes to identify magic. It was intentional that identifying magic involved more investigation and guesswork, but the time burden was too high, especially when finding multiple items. Along with this change, we're shortening how long it takes to repair items so that party members can do all these tasks simultaneously and finish up at the same time. They all start out at taking 10 minutes. We can see that identify magic is being dropped, like they say, from 1 hour to 10 minutes. It's the same story for repairing things. Hey, wait a minute. What does that mean about, the quick repair skill feat? Well, we've got that too. The quick identification and quick repair skill feats are being changed to you take only 1 minute to repair an item or identify a thing. If you're a master, it takes 1 round. If you're legendary, it takes 1 action. So I've hit that, and I see why Levi, or you may know them as Queblin Gemin, the Svirf Neblin, winner of our Pathfinder First Edition send-off tournament. I'm just going to quote him real quick from our Discord. Repair shield, raise shield, beat face, reaction to block again, lather, rinse, repeat. The rich are getting richer. That's so good. That's literally just, my shield got dented in half. My shield now looks like a pizza box that's standing half open because I left it on the stove last night. Not with the stove on. I'm not advocating the burning down of houses, just that sometimes we don't throw away our pizza boxes. Give me 1 round. Whip, it's a shield again. Off we go. Holy crap. The same, of course, is true for the Read Aura spell. Now, let's get to the fun part, shall we? Like I've said, everyone has an archetype now. All 12 of the classes have an archetype. That's nuts. That's exciting. That's crazy. And a lot of them are really exciting for me personally. Sit down, guys. This is getting nuts. For starters, Alchemist players. Paizo feels the infused trait was too restrictive when you were making elixirs for your buddies, because essentially you were paying double the resonance. This apparently is especially limiting when the Alchemist was trying to serve as the party's healer, and I could see that. The infused trait now removes the resonance cost for not just the crafter, but for anyone who uses the item as well. On page 47 of that book, we're changing cost its crafter any resonance points to cost any resonance points and delete, though anyone else must spend resonance points to activate normally. So yeah, there you go. I imagine that still means the Alchemist must use resonance to make it, but to drink the thing, or give it to your friends to drink the thing, no longer does it cost them any resonance. That makes the Alchemist a lot stronger. It's been requested on min-maxing for fun and profit. We cover an Alchemist with the Wizard dedication, and to tell you the truth, that was the direction I was building in. I was building towards the idea of make elixirs, pass them out to our friends, and then just snap a Ray of Frost in someone's face if they got too close to kill them dead. Now it's more viable. Honestly, that's a character I would love to play. Anywho, monk players. Henceforth, you guys have proficiency with all simple weapons. This is supposed to give you more flexibility as a martial character, and now you've got some ranged weapon proficiency. Paladins have a small one. Blade of Justice is getting a paragraph at the end that reads, if a foe attacks one of your allies, the duration extends to the end of that foe's next turn. If the foe continues to attack one of your allies each turn, the duration continues to extend. So now Blade of Justice isn't just 1 action for 1 turn. Now it keeps going if they attack stuff that isn't you. I like it. Next up, it's for you rangers out there. Paizo feels, and I can kind of echo this from my limited time playing a ranger focused on ranged combat. A bow using ranger doesn't have a good option for a class feat at first level. It's Animal Companion, which I took, and then regretted because Cavalier archetype kind of forced the retrain. I didn't need to add half my wisdom to the crossbow I didn't have. Had I continued playing that character, it was a push to retrain and grab double slice. But really, there was no reason to show up with a bow at first level, especially because it's half strength. I was just dual wielding javelins. Anyway, the double slice feat, which I thought was good personally, isn't ideal for the 2-weapon ranger, so 2 new feats are being introduced, and double slice is not a feat anymore. Man, I guess I'm glad that I didn't finish up in that group, because I advocated a lot for retrain time so I could have that feat. Never got it. Now it's gone. Anywho, Monster Hunter says at the beginning, as part of the action used to hunt target, you can attempt a check to recall knowledge, so it becomes 1 action. That's a little better, but we aren't worried about that. Hunted shot. Once per round, as long as you're wielding a ranged weapon with 0 reload, so a bow. You take 2 quick shots against your hunted target. Make 2 strikes against your hunted target with the required weapon with the multiple attack penalty applying normally. If both of these hit, combine the damage and enhancements for the purposes of resistances and weaknesses. I don't know how playable that is, to tell you the truth. I don't know at feat level 1, unless there's just like skeletons and zombies everywhere, what's going to have resistances and weaknesses, but I suppose that's meta-dependent. Twin takedown. Once per round with 2 melee weapons, each in a different hand, you make 2 strikes against your hunted target, 1 with each of the required weapons, with the multiple attack penalty applying normally. The second strike takes a -2 circumstance penalty if the weapon doesn't have the agile trait. If both attacks hit, you combine the damage. And for resistances and weaknesses, it's 1 strike. Now, wait a minute. In my opinion, honestly, double slice was better than twin takedown. Yes, it cost 2 actions, but they were made both at your current multiple attack penalty, so the idea in my head was stride and then strike, essentially, using double slice, making sure that one of those weapons had the agile trait. So that does kind of feel like a strict nerf for the ranger, and you have to have hunted the thing. Ugh, feels bad. I guess that was doing a lot of damage. I can believe it. It definitely was the best of the level 1 ranger feats, Animal Companion aside, but I feel like you could just grab that whenever. Also, again, I'm a little biased because I definitely was going Cavalier with my Ranger. I don't know. What do you guys think? Twin takedown better than double slice? Right here, these 2 feats. Which one do you like? Tell me about it in the comments. And who way more rogues. It looks like a lot of players wanted rogues that did something other than dexterity to damage. So the Bludgeoner first level rogue feat is now gone. Now we've got Rogue's Technique instead of Finesse Striker, which lets you pick now from 3 different paths at first level. Finesse Striker, again, is one of them, attacking with an agile or finesse one-handed melee weapon, so not the Elven Curve Blade. You can add your dex to damage instead of strength. Brute Attack lets you deal sneak attack damage with any simple weapon, and when you critically succeed in an attack roll using that weapon, and when the target is flat-footed, you get the critical specialization effect for the weapon you're wielding. You don't gain these benefits if the weapon has a damage die larger than a d8. But you're no longer slowing people. So that, again, strict nerf. I guess that was bludgeoning a lot of goblins to death somewhere. Anywho, the third one, Scoundrel's Feint. When you successfully feint, the target is flat-footed against all melee attacks you attempt against it until the end of your next turn. Critically succeed, the target's flat-footed against all attacks that anyone attempts against it until the end of your next turn. So all you guys out there who are looking for a million different rogues in one party as a GM that might ambush a player, one good Scoundrel's Feint and everybody's off to the races. But I am going to miss Bludgeoner. I'm not going to lie. Bludgeoner had an enhancement that said when it went off, that dude was slowed 1 until the end of your next turn. Of course, there are some weapons with that critical specialization, but they're on the end of a fort save. So that, again, is a strict downgrade. But now we got to talk about this next one. This next one's exciting. I'm really happy about this one. It's for the Sorcerers. I haven't been quoting that much, have I? Okay, quote. The Sorcerer's advanced bloodline and greater bloodline powers are no longer mandatory. Sorcerers didn't have the same flexibility as clerics or any other class. Again, we talked about this, causing players to feel their class was too restrictive compared to others, and it was. So now, in the Sorcerer table at level 6, I am happy to announce that we're changing Advanced Bloodline Power spell point increase to Sorcerer feat. The same at level 10. Advanced Bloodline and Greater Bloodline are now Sorcerer feats. What that means is my Gishy boy that we made that would just jump into Demonic Sorcerer, get Glutton's Jaws, and then go into the Fighter archetype as fast as possible to, be the Gish, be the Magus. It's doable on the Sorcerer. We aren't forced to take Advanced and Greater Bloodline stuff, and that is huge, because tomorrow I'm starting a Gestalt Sorcerer Druid, and now I might have some feats open. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the Imperial Bloodline that hard, except that I really liked the beginning one. Nevertheless, we did it, team. Pat yourselves on the back. Now, one last thing we're going to talk about. We've talked about the change to the dying condition, signature skills getting overhauled. Follow this card right up here if you missed that video. That's been out for a little while. But now we have a new condition when we're getting beat up. It's called Wounded. The Wounded condition is a condition a character receives when they return from dying. This new condition will increase the dying value anytime you get it, and the wounded value increases as well every time you come back from death's door. This condition can be removed fairly easily with that new Treat Wounds activity, or by being healed and resting and stuff like that, but now it's a little more dangerous here in the Pathfinder playtest. The Wounded condition. As long as you've got it, if you gain the dying condition or increase it for any reason, increase the amount you gain or increase by your wounded value. Wounded condition ends if someone attends to you with treat wounds, or if you're healed to full hit points and rest for 10 minutes. Okay, so basically what I'm seeing is you go to dying, you come back up, you're wounded 1. Wounded 1 says if you go to dying 1, you instead go to dying 2, increasing it by your wounded value, come back up, you're wounded 2, then you go to dying 3, because 1 plus 2 is, you guys understand. Or if you get critically hit while you're wounded 2, you're dead, Jim. Or did you take die hard? Then, okay, maybe you're not dead, Jim. The point is, it looks like it's going to be a lot easier to die, which I like in a world where it's become easier to heal as well. That's a fair balance. I'm definitely looking forward to trying this one out. We do start a fair at Somberfeld Hall. Yeah, we're super behind. Pale Mountain Shadow took a while. We took a week off because everybody got sick like all at once. And I'm going to be real excited to put the Wounded condition on, folks. Alongside a buttload of changes, that also does seem to mean that things like Breath of Life need to change, administering first aid changes, because now you can be at 0 HP and not be dying. But before we round this one out, there is an FAQ amidst this update PDF that has some pretty useful stuff in it. The one we're going to highlight now is shields have been changed. The shield now takes a dent if the damage it blocks equals or exceeds its hardness, of course, but it can't take more than 1 dent at a time. So if you have a hardness 3 shield that blocks 6 damage, you take 3, it takes a dent. No longer that shield gets broken, but it can't take that second dent. This means the shield characters will take damage a little faster. Although personally, I think we should do away with hardness and just give the shield an HP value and watch it tick away. Maybe buff the hardness a little or bring back that second dent to compensate. Because again, it just seems like the Ring of Protection of the playtest. If you don't have it, you're wrong. If you don't have it, you're taking way too much damage, especially in low-level play when a goblin's swinging at you for 2 and you just lol, heavy steel shield, nothing, meh. Okay, but that's what we've got for this one. We're also putting out those 12 archetypes for you. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you haven't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help this channel level up to epic level play, and, be as amazing as we can be. And we'll see you next time.